Can you imagine visiting the White House and having a mockingbird soar over you? Guess whose bird that was? It was mine, Thomas Jefferson, our third president. I received a great education, became a successful lawyer with a great family, and went on to become one of the most successful presidents of all time. Fortunately, I had a great childhood in Virginia. I was born on April 13, 1743 at Shadwell Plantation, which burned down in 1770 in Albemarle County, Virginia. I loved nature, horseback riding, reading, and music. My family was also very rich. In addition to having a rich family, my parents were also very powerful too. My father, Peter Jefferson, was a very smart surveyor, a lieutenant colonel, which helped run the Virginia militia, and died when I was 14 in 1757. My mother, Jane Randolph Jefferson, was born into a rich and powerful family and died in 1776. I also had one brother and 6 sisters, in which 2 died as babies. In addition to having a great childhood, I also had an amazing education. I received education close to home and loved to learn new things. During school breaks, I helped my father plant and harvest crops at Shadwell. I studied history and Latin and Greek. I also studied law in Williamsburg. Then in 1762, I graduated from the College of William and Mary. Thankfully, my great education and great job got me a gradual climb in the political ladder. My first year as a lawyer, I handled 67 cases, then my second year 115, and my third year 200 cases. When I was a lawyer, I never liked for my clients to pay me. I also was the author of the Declaration of Independence. I started my political career in the House of Burgesses, then the Second Continental Congress to Governor of Virginia, next a member of Continental Congress to Minister of France, finally Secretary of State to Vice President under John Adams, which led to President of the United States. Not surprisingly, I was married for 10.5 years with 6 wonderful children. My wife, Martha Wales Skelton, was 24 years old when we got married. She was a widow to her previous husband. She died only a few months after our last child, Lucy Elizabeth's birth. She was the first future president's wife to die before he was elected. After her death, she was buried at Monticello. When we were married, we had 5 girls and 1 boy. The only 2 that survived to adulthood were Martha Washington Jefferson, also known as Patsy, and Maria Jefferson, also known as Polly. Later on, my good work brought me to be President of the United States. I had a very good campaign. I was a Democratic Republican whose opponents were Aaron Burr and John Adams. I had no running mate, but I did want to end slavery, wanted peace with other nations, and liberty and safety for everyone. The election was in 1801, and the Electoral College had to vote 36 times until I won against Aaron Burr. Aaron Burr also became my new vice president. My inauguration was on March 4th, 1801 in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol building. I walked from my hotel to it, and I was dressed very plainly. As a result of my awesome first term, yay! I was re-elected in 1804 and made George Clinton my new vice president. My life in the White House was very relaxed and friendly. I often rode around Washington talking to strangers. I also opened the White House to everyone wearing pajama-like clothes. My daughter Martha also had 1 child in the White House, and I wrote letters to her kids, especially her daughter Cornelia. I had many accomplishments during my presidency. One of the accomplishments were authorizing a tax on Tripoli, North Africa, to end raids on U.S. ships by pirates. My most important action as president was the Louisiana Purchase for $15 million, which nearly doubled the size of the U.S. I also approved and encouraged the Lewis and Clark expedition. Finally, in my second term, I approved the Embargo Act prohibiting trade with Europe to retaliate against Great Britain and France. Without a doubt, I had a very happy retirement